The Light Sport and Ultralight Flyer would like to thank BRS Parachutes for providing air transportation to and from Aero. We would also like to thank ICP North America for supplying our accommodations at the show, and Renegade Light Sport Aircraft for transportation and meals during the show.
We are here at Aero, the grand show for light aircraft in all of Europe. And today we're looking at a very unusual aircraft that we've seen here. But first, let's compliment BRS Parachutes, our sponsor for making videos here at Aero. Thank you very much. We're talking today with Roland Hallam of FK Lightplanes in Poland. And he doesn't speak with a Polish accent at all because Roland is South African by nature. And I'm Dan Johnson, and we're going to look at the FK51. And this looks like a beautiful metal airplane here, including all the riveting and even the dimpling where the hammers would pound in the rivets, you can see here. But they're all a fake, aren't they? Because this is actually a composite airplane. The entire aircraft is composite, not what it appears to be. That's a fascinating project. What led you down this path in the first place, Roland?
Well, the Mustang, I think for every single pilot is a dream. And for us, there's been a lot of, let's say, copies or scaled down versions of the Mustang, and we felt the detail of the plane has never been exact. A guy would always look at a 70% scale and say, it doesn't really fit well.
They're very credible, but they don't have quite this. For example, this whole line of rivets right here, you just wouldn't use those because you don't need them on that. And so you're right, they lack something.
That was very important for us. If we were going to do a scale replica of anything, we had to get it right. So we have on the molds, on the surface of the aircraft, more than 100,000 screws and rivets handmade into the molds. So every single detail that you see on this plane is on the original, from filler caps to everything. The shape has to be precise. No one can turn around at the end of the day and say, no, it doesn't really look like a Mustang.
If I pulled out blueprints, or if I was a F-51, P-51 fighter pilot, I knew every rivet, and I looked here, I would see every single component. 100,000 of these fakes on this composite aircraft. It doesn't look like it here. In fact, I almost would be inclined not to believe you, but I saw this while they were putting it together, and so I took a picture of the outside, and you could see fiberglass on the inside. A fascinating project. What engine are you using right now to power this roller?
This aircraft is designed for the ultralight category. So for the certification of all our planes is done in Germany. That's our German type certification. And for this class, we are using a 100 horsepower Rotex engine to do the type certification.
Okay.
We are in development
in Europe,
for bigger engines.
Ultralight class means 472 kilos with a parachute system.
That's correct.
That's a very low weight. That's only about 1,000 pounds for American consumption.
That's right.
All this can be done in that weight class?
We've used a new technology which I can't talk too much about, trade secrets here, but the skin layout of the aircraft is different to our regular planes. It's in a new type of technology. So is all the structural components inside the aircraft is made different to our other aircraft. And with this, it's given us a new strength, or a higher strength rating with a lighter weight. So it will be lighter than our Comet, for example, even though the surface area is bigger.
It will be lighter than the Comet?
Yeah, even though the
Comet is not a particularly heavy airplane, so that's quite something that you can get this much structure. By the way, what size scale is this?
It's a 70%.
This is a 70%, as is commonly be done, as you mentioned earlier. Okay, so we've got the Rotex engine in here, but we've got an awful lot of exhaust stacks. We know those are also fake.
That's right.
But you said there's some interesting parts of the fake quality to this that I think we ought to talk about. In fact, right in here, I can see there's a little speaker in here. Now, that's not on the original because it made a different sound of its own. So what have you done here? What's all that about?
Well, we wanted the full Mustang experience, and when you do a scale, you're missing that flair, that effect. So we've done extra things to bring the original feeling of a Mustang back. The standard plane will be equipped with a sound system that is taped from a Merlin engine. So the startup, the shutdown, and the throttle is all linked to the controls inside the aircraft.
So the pilot does nothing; he just does what he does.
He just pushes the button.
But it sounds like
and it's a Mustang.
The real McCoy.
On top, we have a smoke system integrated into the dummy exhaust. So when you turn the ignition key on, there's a LED light that's lighting up green. You have to wait 15 seconds and it switches to orange. And then when you push start, you have a startup smoke effect as well on top.
Out of these exhaust pipes that I see here, which aren't really exhaust pipes,
they're dummies.
They're just smoke emitters.
That's it. Just to give you the Mustang feel. Yeah? So the sound is there, the look is there, and the smoke. You must feel like you're flying a Mustang.
So it doesn't look like it's really ultralight class or LSA class in the United States, but that's what it is in fact. But in Europe, you are allowed to have, in the ultralight class, you can have retractable rear. So this one has retractable gear on it, which I presume is functioning very similar to the original also?
Everything, with the gear bay, doors, everything, and the tail wheel as well, fully retractable. It's a Mustang. It must look and fly like a Mustang. Yeah? The additional difference that we have in Europe compared to American SLSA class is we also allowed constant speed propellers, adjustable propellers as well as retract gears. Obviously for America we can't offer this.
Right, so if you brought this to America, or I should say when you bring it to, you'll have it with fixed gear and you'll have it with a fixed prop instead of an in-flight variable.
As in the SLSA class, unless we bring it in as experimental, then we can play.
Basically, what kind of price class are we in here with this?
The launch price of the plane at the moment in this configuration with the Rotax engine is coming out at just under 100,000 euro. 99,800 euro is the launch price.
That's about 130,000 US at present. And that seems like quite a remarkable price for a project of this complexity and interest factor. I would think, a lot of people have said, well, how many P51 lookalikes do we need? Well, evidently a few more, because there seems to be insatiable demand for this, much like the Piper Cub lookalikes. There's several of those, and they all seem to be doing fine too. So,
how long before we can have one?
This plane is going back to the factory, obviously, to complete its structural testing for certification. The flying, the serial number 2.
This is the very first one right here.
This is the very first one, done yesterday.
I saw it being done yesterday, actually.
No, the flying plane will go through to our German office with P51. That will arrive in July this year, where they start with the summer season and do the full flight test and the German certification. In September, we should start the serial production, first deliveries end of the year, beginning of next year.
In Europe, you'll do this first.
Worldwide.
Okay, you'll go worldwide with it after that.
But based on the German.
And then you'll have to do some extra work for it to become light sport class. That's another animal entirely.
But not far off. To get from German into SLSA, the modifications.
There's always been a good relationship there, and Peter obviously knows this very well. He's been participating in the ASTM meetings for a long time, so I'm sure he can help you with this. Well, a lot of fascinating things here, but of course we didn't give them all the information here, Roland. We want to direct them to your website. What's the website address? We'll put it up on screen, but what's the website we can go to find out more?
Our website is fklightplanes.com.
fklightplanes.com. I have a lot about the FK Light Planes on my website. I don't have this airplane yet, but it's going to get there soon enough. All the other material about the many FK airplanes that Roland manufactures are available on mydanjohnson.com or bydanjohnson.com. Thanks a lot for joining us here at Aero.
More and more pilots of little planes are asking themselves, what color is their parachute?
It was a beautiful day for flying. Ernst Kuhn of Neuss, Germany, was piloting his small two-seater 1,000 feet above some idyllic French countryside near the town of Gap. In an instant, it became a pilot's worst nightmare. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw an airplane climbing right toward him.
So what I did, pull a little bit. Then when you see the video, something happened. I believe it was a rope in my propeller.
It sure was. He was ensnared in a cable used by a plane towing a glider. He was dropping like a stone. So what did he do?
The first I did was switch off the engine. And immediately afterwards, pull the parachute.
A parachute not just for him, but for his whole plane. He wafted into an orchard and walked away without a scratch.
I can't understand how it was so, but it was so. It was a moment with, I think, very, very much adrenaline.
Ernst was saved by a rocket-propelled parachute system for airplanes made by Ballistic Recovery Systems of St. Paul, Minnesota. The company claims the chutes have saved 199 lives. Cirrus Designs is the first company to build general aviation airplanes with BRS parachutes as standard equipment. And Ernst rebuilt his little bird himself. and of course, installed a new chute before he took flight again.
Do you think that you are alive today because of that parachute?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Parachutes cost between $3,000 and $20,000, depending on which plane you're putting it into. Of course, when you ask Ernst about
Worth every penny.
it's like the credit card commercial, priceless, right?